And so once I came to an understanding of what was going on in my own head and let go of that fear around that relationship and what other people were going to think of me, suddenly my business just blew up without me even doing anything.
Welcome to the Laws of Business podcast. Here, we will share the skills you need to make your business a success. Learn about goal setting, productivity, time management, marketing, and much more. Hear inspiring stories with today's best business leaders and join a hub of thousands of passionate entrepreneurs across the world. And now, here's your host, Jamil Jama.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Law of Business podcast. I'm your host, Jamil Jama, and I interview successful entrepreneurs. And today I'm going to be interviewing Samantha Alvarez. Samantha Alvarez helps people sell more and live better. Samantha is a sales coach, an entrepreneur, a digital nomad, a sales system strategist, a polyglot, a nurse practitioner, and a mindful human being who helps you achieve stable revenue while living your best life ever. Samantha, a few fun facts about Samantha Alvarez is Samantha has designed and executed a sales system that sold over 2.8 million in 2017. And Samantha is also a sales system strategist for international and online startups. Samantha also speaks 8 languages, including Mandarin, which is real awesome. So Samantha, first of all, Samantha, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show to share your story.
Thanks so much for having me, Jamil. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Samantha, before we get to the questions and before you tell us about how to optimize sales tools, and before we talk about business and personal development and entrepreneurship, could you tell us your backstory, please, from when you started until where you are right now, please?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So I am from the U.S. I originally worked as a nurse for about 5 years, and then as a nurse practitioner for about 5 years. And I got burnt out on healthcare and ended up skipping out on my 6-figure job to go traveling. So as of about 4 years ago, I've been a digital nomad traveling around the world, 30 or so countries, and I've lived in about a dozen, learned a bunch of languages, and tried a ton of different entrepreneurial things. And one of the things that I've found during my travels is that the number one best thing that I can do for my business success is to optimize my own personal development. I have found that I myself am my own best sales tool. And the more time and energy I spend taking care of myself and learning things and figure out the best way for me to do things, the better I do in business. So I've had a number of entrepreneurial ventures, some of which have done okay, some of which have flopped terribly. And I currently am living in Lisbon in Portugal. I will be headed to Bangkok and Chiang Mai, Thailand in a couple of weeks, and I'll be there for a couple of months. I move around and I work doing sales coaching. I do sales coaching for startups and also for individuals. So I talk about sales mindset, money mindset, how to put together sales processes and funnels and how things work, as well as talking about relationships and communication and how to connect with another human being to help them tell their story about their best ever self, which is another way to say selling.
And you're traveling to where? Bangkok in Thailand, and then where else? You said China?
I lived in Taiwan for a year. That's why I learned Mandarin.
You're traveling to Bangkok next, right?
Yes, I'll be traveling to Bangkok in a couple of weeks.
After that, you're traveling where?
Chiang Mai, it's also in Thailand. So I'll be in Thailand for 3 or 4 months, and then I haven't decided where to go after that.
So that's the lifestyle of a digital nomad, right? You travel from one country to another. Entrepreneurship, is that right?
So I focus on, I'm a coach, right? I coach entrepreneurs on their, on business, on mindset, on sales specific stuff. My specialty is talking to people about how to relate to each other, how to relate to yourself, your own limiting beliefs, as well as other people that you're trying to market or sell to, as well as other people that you're either in business with or would like to be in business with, What I do best is talk to people about how they're doing things and what the motivation is behind what makes you do the things you want to do, what your hopes, dreams, and fears are. Those are the conversations I most enjoy having. And so that's what I end up doing the most in my coaching, in addition to the kind of technical consulting, like for funnels and processes and hiring and letting people go and all that good kind of stuff.
You mentioned you do personal development. Do all entrepreneurs need to do personal development, do you believe? Would that really help them grow their business?
I do. I believe that 100%. I have noticed that whenever I take an area of my life and start doing development around it, I see immediate gains in completely unrelated areas in business. I have had, 6 or 12 months ago or so, I started doing coaching around a particular relationship that I was having, that I was struggling with. And I started getting coaching myself around that relationship, and it got better. And suddenly things got much easier in my work. And I went, gosh, what's the difference? And I realized that the correlation was immediate. Once I stopped struggling with, I wasn't sure what to do about this relationship. I was feeling really, really uncertain about it, and just like small. I was feeling small, like I'm holding myself small. And so once I came to an understanding of what was going on in my own head and let go of that fear around that relationship and what other people were going to think of me, suddenly my business just blew up without me even doing anything. And when I say blew up, I mean in a really positive way. Like I had a bunch of people coming to me to ask to work with me. And suddenly I had a bunch of opportunities show up that were not on my radar even 2 days earlier.
So personal development is not just books and audios, is it? It's books, audios, events, and associations, right? And taking action, right?
Personal development is about being a human being and also a human doing. So we do a lot of things, and the books, the tapes, the different exercises that you can do, even a lot of the conferences that you can do are really focused on helping you be a better human doing, which is important. And that's what a lot of us do to make a living, right? That's how our businesses support us. For me, the most important personal development is actually in being a human being, rather than trying to do more things or learn how to do a thing better, to find quiet within myself around a certain issue or in general, and be able to allow space for that issue, whether it's about a limiting belief around money, whether it's a fear that's coming up for me, whether it's a concern or some family stuff that's blocking me from moving forward. For me, the real personal development is finding that silence, that quiet space, and being okay with it being quiet, and shining a light on what is happening inside my own head and inside my own being, and paying attention to that and how that makes me feel. And I find oftentimes 80% of our fears are fears of the unknown. So when you actually stop long enough to pay attention to something, 80% of the power it holds over you goes away. And that is exactly why when I do these things, when I spend time around a particular issue, then 80% of the time, 80% of the difficulty or negative feelings just disappear simply by putting attention on it. So that's what I find the most valuable.
And Samantha, there's a lot we could talk about, but if we talked about everything you do, it would take like 8 hours, right? Or longer.
I like to do a lot of things.
Yeah, because you do many things. I don't think we can talk about all of it, unfortunately. But people can find out more about you on your website, right?
Yes, the best way to find out more about me is on my website, samalvarez.com. I'm also easily findable on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Awesome.
But the best way to know more information about me is to go to the website. If you want to engage with me or talk to me or connect with me, then head over to LinkedIn or Facebook.
Yep, and to find out everything else you do, because you do a lot of things that unfortunately we can't really talk about because it would take too long. But Samantha, the question I have for you though is, how does someone optimize their number one best sales tool?
So optimizing your best sales tool. So the most important sales tool that you have in business is yourself. A lot of people are really nervous about sales and think that it's something that only salespeople can do, and you have to be yucky and unethical and have weird things happen. But the truth is, the most important thing that you can do with respect to having your business, being an entrepreneurial and having your business succeed, is simply to be yourself and to be genuine with people. You don't want to be weird. You don't want to try and do these special tactics that you learned in some book. You don't want to do any of that stuff. The best way that you can do sales for everything in life is to simply be yourself and engage 100% in the present. So, for example, when I am here on this podcast talking to you, I am being fully present with you. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just here in the moment with and just focus entirely on you and our conversation here. And that's the best thing that you can do to be optimized yourself as a sales tool.
So Samantha, it's very difficult for most people to be in the present. What would help for people to stay focused on the present, in being present?
So the best way to be engaged in the present is, it's an idea called mindfulness. So oftentimes, if you are, so a lot of people do mindfulness or they meditate, and I'm a meditator myself. So I meditate every morning when I wake up. I meditate for 15 minutes before I even get out of bed. It's the first thing I do in the morning. And the point of being present is not to be perfect. If I say hey, I want to be present for 15 minutes, I want to get this whole meditation thing or this whole being present thing, that's just not going to happen. The truth is, I've been meditating for over 10 years every day, and myself included, when I sit down even just for 15 minutes and I want to meditate, it's really a struggle to stay on task and to stay in one place. But if I am being present with whether I am present or not, and by that I mean, so for example, if I am meditating and trying to just focus on my breath, for example, that's one meditation I do quite frequently, is to just be present with my breath as I breathe in and out. If my mind wanders, like it does, because that's totally normal, then as soon as I recognize that it's wandering, I will recognize that it's wandering and say, hey, I'm just paying attention to my breath. I don't judge myself. I don't get angry. I don't get upset at myself. I simply remind myself hey, I'm meditating right now. I'm being mindful, and bring myself back. And the recognition of the fact that I'm no longer in silent in my mind, and the bringing of my mind back to quiet or stillness is just as much a part of the process of being mindful as the quote, correct, unquote, part of mindfulness where I'm focusing on the breath like I'm supposed to.
I've noticed a lot of entrepreneurs are getting into meditation. Is there any tools or resources that can help people get into meditation or coaching?
Absolutely. There's tons out there. The tool that I most prefer is called Headspace. It's an app. There's also another really popular one called Calm. A lot of my friends prefer that one. Essentially, the most important part of it is creating a habit that you do every day, whether it's with an app or a website or something you do yourself. And it doesn't have to be, and it feels almost like meditation is cool right now, like it's supposed to be a cool thing to do. But some people meditate by going for a run or doing yoga or cooking or doing something creative. As long as you are allowing your mind to rest and not worry about the future or the past, and you're simply being in the present, that's meditation. It does not have to be sitting, with your hands in the right position and saying the right kind of mantra. I happen to really like Headspace, and I've been doing it for a couple of years, and I really like that one. But whatever works for you to let your mind rest is the best thing that you can do.
Yeah, have you heard of Holysync?
Holysync?
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I don't know that one.
I used to listen to that, and it used to really relax me.
How do you spell that? I'm curious. I'm going to go look that up after our call.
Holosync, Holo. SYNC.
HoloSync. Got it. Yeah, I'll check that out after the call. That's really cool.
And so, Samantha, how can someone hack their life in productivity, social skills, anxiety, travel, goal setting, and harness chaos? How can someone hack their life in all these things like productivity, social skills? Do you understand the question?
I do. That's kind of a big question. So the most important thing in hacking your life, so a lot of people will tell you exactly how you should manage your life. You have to do ABC, you have to do XYZ, you have to do certain things, and you have to be a master at all of them. I disagree with that. The most important thing to do if you want to hack your life and live your best ever life and best ever self is to pick one thing at a time to improve on. Whether that, I actually pick one new thing to improve per week. Sometimes I will continue those. Sometimes those become habits. Sometimes they just totally disappear. For example, right now, I decided about a month and a half ago that I was going to start learning Russian because one of my best friends is Russian, and I want to be able to speak with her in Russian and not have anybody else understand. So it's basically just for fun, and it's exciting. So I decided to start learning Russian. And so I do maybe 15, 20 minutes of Russian a day. I do my meditation, and then I do my Russian study when I first wake up in the morning. And I do that partly because that's exciting to me. Like, I'm working toward a goal that's really meaningful for me. I am having fun with it. When I talk to her, I will throw in some Russian words every once in a while. And so occasionally we'll have a little back and forth where she'll say something to me in Russian to see if I can understand it. And that for me is fun. Like, so when people ask me, like, my gosh, how the heck did you learn 8 languages? That's crazy. And this is exactly how I did it. I've only been learning Russian for a month and a half or 2 months or something like that now. So I can't even hold a conversation, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm doing it because it's fun, and I do something toward it every day. And I have an end goal in mind that I'm really enjoying. So that's how I hack my life. And rather than trying to find a big, giant goal, I recommend the same for other people. Find something every week that you're really excited about trying, and do it every day for 1 week, and then see how you feel. If you enjoy it, keep doing it. If you don't enjoy it, stop doing it. If you want to create a particular goal around it and want to get to a certain place, go for it. If you just kind of want to keep doing it for fun when you want to, that's fine too.
Yes. And Samantha, I have to ask you about this. You designed and executed a sales system that sold over $2.8 million in this year, right?
Well, it sold 1.4 last year, and it's on track to sell that this year. The year's not over yet, so we can't say for sure.
Okay. Well, how did you do that, if you don't mind sharing that secret?
I'm happy to. So I have been doing. I've been working sales for online companies for 4 years now. So I've had a lot of coaching myself in sales, and I've done a lot of, started a lot of new things, worked with a lot of different people and for a lot of people, and had different people work with me. And so I've seen a lot of different ways that these systems work together. And so I was approached by a potential client that said, hey, we've got a really great marketing system, and we need to set up a sales system. And I said, oh, that sounds like fun. So I talked to them about it for a little bit and came to an agreement. And so I started working with them. So they had, X number of thousands of leads that they wanted to do some kind of sales with. And they wanted me to set up a system to make that happen. So it was a 2-month consulting contract. I set up a system for them, made them $189,000 in sales revenue in 2 months, and 72,000 of that was in 1 day. So it was a resounding success. And after that, I said, hey, I really like you guys. I'd like to keep working with you. And I asked them, said, hey, can I keep working with you? We'll switch we'll move to a different kind of work. And I started doing sales rep work for them for 6 months or 12 months or something like that. And that was the time where last year was essentially, with my own efforts, was how we brought in 1.4 million in revenue. So in 2017, it's been a different focus because the company is growing now. And so we've hired some new salespeople, and I'm shifting my role into being a coach for the other salespeople on the team, and I'm really having fun with that. But because we now have multiple people who are doing the sales, the same system, or rather the current version of that system, is now doing even better now that there's more people to execute on it.
Congratulations, Samantha.
Thank you. It's been a great ride. I'm still with them. They're great people.
Awesome. And Samantha, this interview was just a tip of the iceberg of what you do, because we couldn't cover everything. But if anybody wanted to contact you, what's your contact details?
The best way is Facebook or LinkedIn. So you can find out more about me on my website, samalvarez.com, but the best contact is LinkedIn or Facebook.
That's awesome. Everybody, Samantha is a sales coach, entrepreneur, digital nomad, sales system strategist. She also helps you to achieve more revenue while living your best life ever. So she'll be a great person to contact and to get coaching from. Samantha, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me, Jamil.
And I want to thank all the listeners for tuning in. And I'm Jamil Jam, and this is the Law of Business podcast. If you know anybody that this interview would benefit, please share it with them. And also, please leave a comment in the comment. And please also leave a comment in the comment section. Also, please subscribe. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Laws of Business podcast. Find out more about us on thelawsofbusiness.com. Thank you for being a part of our journey.